Okay, so today I want to just run through a zipper join, or sometimes called like a slip stitch. It's like a flat slip stitch join, so it's like a row of surface slip stitches, which is going to join our two motifs together. So for this, I am just using as an example my Secret Garden blanket. This is the motif option. So we've got two of these. So what you need to do, pick up the other one. So we're going to be joining them, you can see, kind of flat like so. So we're not going to be putting them right sides together and going through the back or anything. We're actually going to be working on the surface all the time. And what we're going to do, we are going to work basically a run of slip stitches joining. So we'll be inserting our hook in. If you're right-handed, it's the right hand. So turn it around first, and then into the corresponding stitch on the other one, and then we're going to be pulling our yarn through there to create our sort of chain effect slip stitch. Okay, so to get started, how I start it is with a slip knot on my hook, or I just brought it through a chain like so. So we've got a knot on the hook, and then I like to leave, this is kind of optional, but I like to leave an extra chain first. That'll end up hidden on the back, but that just makes it easier if you're like joining again, to make sure you've got a loop that you can easily work into. Okay, so you can see I have actually got chains. There's a single chain in the corner of each of my squares, and I've marked them with a marker, so that's where we're going to be starting. Okay, so with our slip knot on our hook and our first chain done, you need to effectively keep that yarn, your joining yarn, at the back. Okay, so that's down below, and we're now going to insert our hook. Now I'm using the same size hook as I used to create my squares. If you find you tend to slip stitch or chain quite tightly, you may just want to go up a sort of half a size. Okay, just a slightly larger hook, just to stop everything sort of bunching up. Okay, so firstly, insert your hook in that first, so it's just the back loop of the chain we're working into. Okay, so it's in that one there, and then there. Okay, and then we are going to pull our yarn through both of those and our chain. Okay, and that is what we're going to do all the way along. Oh, I just picked up an extra teeny bit of the green on there. Okay, so always start on the same side, so there, then into the next stitch there, pull through both of those, and then your first chain. Okay, so that is how you do the join. One, pull the loop through all three. There, pull through all three. Okay, so that is how we're going to be joining. Right, so I'm now almost to the end of this square here. Just got a couple more slip stitches to do, so there, and then finally we got our marked corner chains again. Okay, so back loop, pull through all of them, and then just like we added an extra chain at the beginning, I also like to just add an extra one at the end there. Okay, then we can chop that off and pull it through. Okay, so this is now two of the sort of squares that are going to go either side of our central large square. So if you are doing Secret Garden as a motif blanket, what you'll now need, you should find you've got 8 of these squares with this colour there, and I've just joined 2 identical ones. Okay, and you'll also have, hold on, 4 with a slightly different colour for the little flowers. So what you now need to do for 2 of your pairs of these, so you've got 4, you'll have 4 pairs of these with your sort of C4 coloured flowers. the two of them, you're now going to join one of these darker ones at each end. The other two you'll just leave as just a pair. Okay, so what we are now going to do is pick up our central square. Okay, and where are we? You need to go around each edge marking your middle stitch. Okay, so it's quite easy to do. Our central square has got 9 of these little sort of tiles going across, so the middle stitch of that 5th square, just pop a little marker in there, because what we're now going to do when we join the two together, that will need to line up with, in fact you'll be working into this chain and into there. Okay, so that's just a little way of making sure that you've fully lined up. And you can also see, because we are working on the surface, it's really easy to check that you haven't skipped any stitches, because you can see here the pattern lines up exactly. Okay, so I've now got my center square here with the middle stitch, center stitch on that edge marked, and the starting edge of the two squares are just joined together there. And we're now just going to basically join these together in exactly the same way as we did the other one. Okay, and then do exactly the same on the opposite side, so we're left with like a long rectangle which has got the big square in the middle and 2 squares added at each end. Okay, so I've now got halfway along this join here, and I've come up to my little marker for that middle stitch. So what we do here, if you just show you up close here, so what we've got here, these are the 2 corner chains there either side of our slip stitch. So we're not going to be working into the corner chains. What we're going to do, our next joining stitch, where's my end, there we go. So we go as before into our back loop there, then tucking our end down, we're going to work into that slip stitch, okay, in the middle there. If we can get our hook in and pull that through like so, and then we'll carry on there. And like I say, remember, just tuck that out of the way. Remember to ignore this chain, and our next stitch is there, pull through, and now you can carry on as before. Okay,